Here we go again. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Y'all already see the title and the thumbnail. Y'all already know who I'm about to talk about. We talking about Jimmy. We talking about Jimmy, aka Capo. Shout out to Jones, man. Shout out to Camron, man. Shout out to Joel. Shout out to the whole Dipset, man. What's going on here, man? Enough is enough. Y'all gotta sit down at the table, man. Jimmy and Cam. Like y'all gotta sit down at this table, get everything off y'all chest, man. What's going on? Killer, what's going on, Cam? Like, we gotta talk about this. Jones did a recent interview, meaning Jim Jones. He did an interview recently, and he kind of had a few words he had to say about Jimmy and Mace. I mean, about Mace and Cam, pardon me. And 50 Cent, because Camron interviewed on 50 Cent not so long ago on the show. We about to play that clip also. But I want y'all to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get this show started because we got to talk about this Jim Jones and Camron beef that's been going on for the last 10 years, to be honest, y'all. So smash that like button. Let's get the show started, man. Yo, 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 yo. If they know, they know. It's your boy Smoke News TV. Smash the like button, that thumbs up. It ain't gonna hurt your feelings. It ain't gonna cost you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Keep that notification bell on so you know when I'm dropping my own video. And share this video too. Do me that favor. Share this video. Let's get this copyright out the way. Copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find it in my description on my channel, on this channel. Everything that I speak on over here is for educational and entertainment purpose. Again, copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find it in my description on my channel. Everything that I speak on over here is for educational, entertainment purpose. And the clips and videos I play are also owned by the original creators. All right, man, we're going to get straight to it because I got a lot to talk about on this situation, man. Because these dudes come from my side of the coast. We come from the East Coast. These dudes from Harlem. I'm familiar with Harlem. I used to be in Harlem a lot when I was a youngin'. So I know a lot about Camron history and all that, looking from the outside as a hip-hop fan. That part. I've been on 140. Back in the days when I was young. Yeah, shout out to McGruff. Shout out to the 40th side. Shout out to them boys over there. Shout out to the Danger Zone. If y'all know what the Danger Zone is, that's 140th in Harlem with Camron from, Big L, McGruff. List goes on. Mace from around that area. See, Jim from the other side of Harlem. But we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to explain why Camron feel the way he feel towards Jim. And Jim got that love for Cam, that Cam don't got that same love for Jim. That part. We got to talk about this, man. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, like one up. Let's get to this first interview, though. When Camron actually, how this whole shit just started recently. When Camron interviewed 50 Cent and he brought up Jim Jones and remember when Jimmy went on stage and he went on him and 50 Cent back in the days, 50 called him to do a little show. That's when Ballin' came out. That's when Ballin' was like one of the hottest singles in New York. That shit was, I mean, that Ballin' record was all over the place. But that's around the time when 50 Cent and Cam had a little issue. And remember that time when Jim actually connected with 50 Cent to go do a goddamn performance. And Jim actually talked about this. He explained to the reason why he took the call. And he said, yeah, I'll go over there and perform. And the reason why he wanted to connect with 50 because he felt like G-Unit and Dipset, which Jimmy is right, they was the two hottest groups in New York and in the industry. G-Unit was up here, they was selling out arenas, but Dipset was right on them niggas' neck. They was the two hottest groups, man. Nobody wasn't rocking with Dipset or G-Unit. I sit back, I wait. There was the two hottest goddamn rap groups that we seen in that era at that time. Jim was trying to come up with like plans and big ideas and trying to connect with niggas, and this was Jimmy saying. But Cam thought otherwise, that part. So we're going to get to the Cam interview with 50 Cent first. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and light one up because we're going to be here for a while. Smash the like button.
Sent niggas to my office with black roses and a little coffin. And I was like, all right, cool. Then I did the video. So I was like, all right, cool, this is cool. I remember this real talk. I was on probation at the time. My probation officer was like, come down to probation or we gonna lock you up on Thursday. I'm like, what the fuck I did? And New York City Intel was there. And New York City Intel said, what's going on with you and 50 Cent? I said, it's some music shit. What the fuck are you talking about? They said, well, This it just seems like it's one. I say, yo, he puts people out of business. I gotta respond. That's worth everything I love. I told these niggas this. I'm like, yo, the man puts people out of business. You gotta say something else. Then one officer's like, yeah, he does, man. He does. It's just on me. Y'all gonna talk to him? Like, that's like, yeah, his flight is late. Then we're gonna have a conversation with him too. So the more the story is, like I said, Dipset at that time kind of really wasn't on the same page, but it wasn't
public,
external. Yeah. And I was like, maybe I could fix this shit before it gets out of hand. And that's where my mind frame was at. But then when niggas went on stage, I'm like,
yeah, that was Apollo.
Shit that spun out of the nigga. It is a checkmate moment, which was, I said, this nigga's devious right here. All right.
Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Do me that favor by supporting this channel. Smash that like. See, according to Cam, and it's hard for me to believe this, man. It really is. It's because, yo, Flea, aka Cam, aka King Joffrey. I've been following your career my whole life since I was a kid, champ. I go back since your first album. By you saying that, you sat back and you was going to actually squash the beef between you and 50 G Unit and Dipset. That's at that time. But then you saying in that interview you did with 50, that you interviewed 50, you said you was going to squash it before it got too far, before it got too crazy. But you said when Jimmy and Joel's joined 50 on the stage and they performed with Fifth, that's when you was like, nah, what these niggas doing? But see, I don't get that. If you was gonna squash the beef, that was your mind state. You said it just in that interview. You said, man, you know, I was gonna squash the beef, this and that. But until I see my niggas Jim, you know, he ain't want to say Jim name, but everybody know the history. He said when them niggas joined 50 on the stage and all that, that's when he changed his mind. But how you gonna change your mind when your first thought was to squash the beef? So that should be a good look from day one right there. Like, oh, my niggas on stage with them. All right, let me hit Jim right quick. I don't understand that part because you was going to squash the beef anyway. Jim ain't do nothing wrong. Jim ain't diss you or nothing like, yo, F-Can and all this. He wasn't on stage with 50 Cent dissing you. We're going to get to Jim on that part. Jim was thinking the same way you was thinking. He wanted to squash the beef also. But you got upset because Jim and Joel's joined 50 on stage. And then that's when you end your relationship with Jim and Joel's. Because ever since that happened, I mean, everything went left. It was never the same again. We never seen Cam with Joel's or Jim the way they used to be, the way they all used to be in the beginning. But you got me confused, Cam. You got me confused, Flea. You said you was going to squash the beef. You know, my mind state was to squash the beef and all that. But then this dude playing chess, you know, Fifth, he got my niggas on the stage with him. So, but you was going to squash the beef, though, champ. So I would have sat back and been happy. What you talking about? Jim and them niggas squashed the beef for me by joining on the stage with you. So now I ain't got to put the extra effort in. To be sitting on the phone with Fifth like, yo, you know what I mean? Oh, this is BS. And nah, you got my niggas on stage. All right, everything is good now. I'm gonna call this nigga the next day. I'm gonna call Fifth the next day. We're gonna see where our energy at now. Now, if the energy is on some, nah, man, I ain't messing with you yet, that's different. But Cam, you really bust a female move on that note. I'm sorry to tell you, champ, and I rock with you a lot. Pause. You one of my favorite rappers. But Killer, Cam, you was thinking like you was very emotional on that part because you said it out your own mouth in that interview. I was thinking about squashing the beef anyway until I seen these niggas join on the stage on you. What? Now, if you said you wasn't never thinking about squashing the beef and then you seen Jimmy and them join the stage with Fifth, that's a different story now. Because you ain't planning on squashing no beef with Fifth. But you clearly said in that interview right there, you was planning on squashing the beef. That was your mind state at that time. But then you change your mind when you see your niggas that down with you join Fifth on the stage. I'm kind of confused on that. I don't know if y'all confused or not, but the words the people use. Now, if I'm sitting and I say I was never thinking about squashing the beef, and then I see my niggas on the stage, that's a different story. But you clearly said in front of 50 Cent, your mind state was to squash the beef. But then you change your mind when you see Jim and Joel's on stage with him. That's crazy to me, Killer. Cam, that's crazy to me right there. Let's continue, man. So we got Jim Jones now, which is interview recently, the one that's going viral. And this is what Jimmy basically saying. Jimmy had a lot to say, man. Shout out to Jones, shout out to Cam, because I rock with both of y'all, man. I wish I could squash this goddamn beef and get back to the music and get this dipset shit the way it used to be. With some new artists coming out, that part. But let's get to Jim, though. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, man.
Giving a Cam right now. He just did the interview with 50.
For the younger audience, we had like a rap battle thing at one time. And 50, what you did, so we was having interior problems at Dipset. Nobody knew about this. Nobody knew that we was like not on the same page.
Right.
So when me and you were battling during our music thing, you got members of Dipset to come to your show.
Them niggas be on my dick, right? Them niggas ain't got nothing else to think about but Capo. I did a lot for them niggas in their life. You heard? Both of them. Pause, though. Get off of my dick. There's only space on there for baby girl, man. Come on, man. Tugging on my shit like that.
Yo, you never clear shit up, and we never hear your side of the story. Cam was like, I thought we could pull it together. Next thing I know, I see Jim performing with 50.
That nigga ain't think nothing. He could pull nothing together. He couldn't do nothing with me. He couldn't tell me nothing, nigga. Like, let's not get this shit twisted. Like, nigga, nobody could tell me nothing, nigga. I was my own boss. I did what I did as a fucking soldier, because I was a soldier, nigga. You heard? I had the soldiers, niggas. Niggas didn't tell me nothing. You heard? I did what I wanted to do. I seen the shit wasn't going right, so I started doing what Jim Jones needed to do for Jim Jones, because the nigga that was supposed to be the Don wasn't taking care of the capo. Started feeling like the Gotti movie, you heard?
But what was the point where you realized I'm gonna have to do what the fuck I gotta do, because this shit...
Now y'all heard Jim. Jim, according to Jim, see, this is bugged out, y'all. It's just confusing to me. Because a lot of people are just putting their opinion. Oh, nah, Jim just... Listen, man. I'm on Jim's side a little bit, pause, because I can understand where Jim coming from. Because when I break this down to y'all, Jim had more love than Cam. Jim had more love for Cam than Cam had more love for Jim. If that makes sense to y'all. The love that Jim was giving Cam, Cam wasn't giving that same love back. But see, I'm trying to see, the thing is with people, Cam had his own niggas, man. Jim, according to Cam felt like Jim came late in his life. Jim was in this nigga life as a teenager. That shit is bugged out to me. Y'all meet up as teenagers. That's still, y'all teenagers, bro. How the hell Jim ain't one of your best friends, Cam? Y'all met when y'all was teenagers. You and Mace was cool, what? Okay, since what, 8, 10 years old and all this. Nigga, that's not too far until you met Jim. And Mace was there when you met Jim. That's the crazy part. Bloodshed, his cousin, may him rest in peace. All these niggas was in Jim's grandmother's house, if y'all know the history. Jim grandma left him an apartment down there in Tass, whatever, in the projects that Jim from. Mace and them niggas used to write their rhymes and all that shit in there. Niggas was doing a lot of whatever. Them niggas was getting to it. But for Cam to act like Jim came late in his life and all this, and like, bro, nah, bro. I'm starting to believe how Jim felt too. Jim popped off kind of quick and all this, that, and the third, and maybe Capo didn't like that. I don't know. Capo said he wasn't jealous of Jim's career, according to on Camron said he was never jealous of Jim's career, according to Camron. But what's like, how can you kumbaya with Mace when Mace did you dirty, left you in the dust, man. Back in the Bad Boy era when he signed with Bad Boy and all this, man, if everybody know the history, they know how Mace treated Camron back then. That's why Camron formed Dipset. That's why him and Jim went on and did what they did and formed the Dipset group. Cam was the first one off. He was the leader. He was the Don, like Capo said. I was the Capo, he was the Don of the shit. And you just get back with Mace though, with all the words y'all used against each other. I mean, y'all niggas said some most disrespected shit to each other, meaning Camron and Mace. And you really be Xing Jim out like Jim ain't help you do shit. That's crazy to me. Let's continue with this, man. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. And it's very hard for me to believe that Cam was gonna piece up the 50 Cent beef. Like Jim said, Jim's like, man, that nigga lying. That nigga wasn't planning on doing shit. Let's continue. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. This is nasty work, man.
City in it. Somebody got to do that for me right now because I'm super lit. You heard? But I put my life on the line for all of the shit, and you know, and everybody knew that. But niggas wasn't doing the same thing in return.
What's something that stands out to you though, when you realize niggas really wasn't for you? I know you say you've been seeing it, but there's a moment, bro. Like, you know, what I'm saying, wherever that
feel like
somebody,
when you start to feel like somebody want to see you do good, but not as good as them, you're like, oh yeah, I know what this move is about. You heard? Everybody don't got the mind of a real leader.
Who reached out to who when you went out to perform? Cause
I had Ballin'. I had the hottest record at the time. My record was hotter than 50's records at the time when Ballin' spanked out and shit like that. When Cam did this shit with calling the station up over the cot shit and all that shit, I felt that was childish. That wasn't, like, you don't press no real buttons and you're not about to come outside when it's time to really get active, nigga. So how dare you do some weak shit like that really didn't hold no merit? Like, you start going crazy over Koch, over a white man that been jerking us since we got signed there, and whatever backdoor deals you had with him serves you more advantageous than it served me. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, so when that shit went on, I was like, that was kind of weak. That was corny, because at that time, there was no real beef. It was just the most powerful groups of individuals that's running New York at the same time. So in my mind, I was like, it's more advantageous for us to try to figure out how us to start to move and do tours and really go crazy and figure out, because that we were sizzling, but this nigga was on Mars, nigga. These niggas wasn't doing regular shit. These niggas was doing fucking arenas every night. We doing clubs every night. We got...
Now, if y'all kind of confused, let me break it down to y'all what Jim's saying. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. He's talking about G-Unit. He's talking about when him and Jewels went to perform with 50. The shit that Cam talking about with 50 when he said that, oh, you know, you play chess with me, you had my niggas on the stage with you, this and that. That's what Jim talking about. Jim like, nigga, I got one of the hottest records, one of the hottest single at that time. They playing that shit at Giants Stadium at the pregame in Giants games. Balling. That balling record, that shit was out of control. That shit was on every New York Giants. I mean, Jim got a smash on that. Jim looking at it like, yo, the beef not even that serious between y'all two. Now, let's rewind. Let's go back a little bit for the first clip I played y'all. Remember when Camron said right in front of 50 Cent, yeah, you know, I was playing on my mind state was squashing the beef. The same way Jim was thinking the same way, Cam. You just heard Cam. You just heard Jim. Jim said, my nigga, I looked at that shit like that shit wasn't even that serious. We the two hottest group coming out of New York, nigga. We might as well start sizzling, trying to sell out arenas like these niggas are. Try to get the bag. Camron in the first goddamn clip said, yo, my mind was to squash the beef until I seen the members of the group was on stage with you. Nigga, you was gonna squash the beef anyway. And then on the other side, Paul's, Jim on his side, the way he thinking like, yo, this shit ain't even that serious. I'm gonna go rep the set on the stage. Like Jim said, I'm gonna go rep Dipset on the set. He wasn't repping G-Unit Cam. Now it'd be totally different. We see Jim Jones and Jewels up there with G-Unit on wear on. That's totally different. I'll agree with Camron 100%. But Cam, these niggas was still wearing Dipset shit, still repping the dip, still repping the set, all that. So I don't understand what the hell was the problem. I'm starting to think, like Jim said, like Jim gonna get to a little later, a little bit of jealousy or something, like. Because we got to sit back and we got to keep it real here. Jim was in them streets, man. When it comes to Dipset, who was marketing that shit the most? I sit back, I wait. Who was marketing Dipset the most? Jim Jones. Who was brought the blood shit to New York and the East Coast? Who kind of introduced that shit to the world? That was Jim Jones, right? Off of hip hop, off the Dipset, off the Certified Gangster video when he did with the Game when Jimmy went out there to the West Coast. Jim marketed that Dipset shit so much, bro. Let me tell you something. That's why Dipset is... Now, take Jim out of that. I'm just gonna ask y'all a question before we get to the next clip. Now take Jim out of that situation. Say Jim never even exists. You think Dipset will be the way it is? And I know it's very hard to sit back and try to think about that because I thought about this. I said Cam is a hell of a rapper. Now, I never said Jim better than Cam in rapping. So get that out your mind. Cam is the rapper. But Jim had a market in mind. He had like he was in them streets. And plus with him active in the streets with the gang activity that's going on, he's even more included in the streets. So now he can even market it Dipset more and bring more talent and bring more niggas around Dipset and make that shit the way it looked like it was back then. Because when we looked at Dipset on videos, I mean, they had a whole New York, whole Harlem, Brooklyn niggas. Come on. I ain't got to break down the gang and all that shit Jimmy was down with, allegedly, that he still claimed allegedly. I ain't going to break all that down. But Jim was a hell of a marketer. He knew how to market shit. So if you take Jim out of Dipset, you think Dipset will look the way it would have looked? You think Dipset would have been still going for all them years when Camron actually sat back and took a little vacation from hip hop? Man, his mom, rest in peace. You know, his mom was sick. We all know the story. He moved to Orlando. He had his mom in Orlando. We all know that. Got to take care of moms first. Got to take care of moms first. But y'all got to understand, Camron disappeared for it was a few years he disappeared, man. It was more than 1 or 2 years. Who kept that Dipset shit going? Jim Jones. I don't want to hear the Max B. I don't want to hear it. I'm talking about Dipset, not Bird Gang. I'm talking about Dipset. Who kept that shit going? Who kept dropping videos? Who kept repping the set? Who kept looking fly, looking fresh, and making sure, nigga, this shit don't never go nowhere? Because the way we came in the game, this is the way we're gonna look when we leave the game. That was Jimmy, man. That was Jim. That's why I don't understand this, like this little beef between him and Cam, and I don't understand Killer the way he thinking also. Let's continue though. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. I just want to break down a little history and a little bit of part that Jim Jones played a lot in Dipset era. Because I could go all day with this shit. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video.
City and the urban communities on fire and shit like that. In my mind, I see opportunity for us to really start. You heard? Like, we had all the power and shit like that. My mind ran different and shit like that. So when he did that, I'm like, damn, that fucked all that up. You heard? And then it was like, now you want to start a beef with these niggas over what though?
So you never understood why he started beef with them?
Nah, I didn't understand that. I heard what the nigga said, oh, Koch was a graveyard and all that type of shit. I didn't give a fuck about none of that type of shit. You heard? Like, and it really hit me. I was on fire at that time. I don't care about what you say and shit like that. We on an independent label getting stupid though. Like, we did shit that nobody did in the game. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, that shit was whack. I don't like how this shit is going. I got to start really doing shit that's going to benefit me because niggas will seem like you won't want to see nobody else win.
Right.
And I need to win. I got to win in spirit. So, you heard? I didn't put all this work in for nothing. You dig? I didn't teach myself how to rap for nothing. I didn't jump all on this game to be famous for nothing. I need to capitalize and be just as famous as the most famous, most successful rich person in this game also. I'm now in the game.
I still got to know, like, how did that work?
That's the word. We ain't done though. Smash the like, subscribe if you haven't. See, the thing is crazy because I know some people be like, yo, that part when he said, I taught myself. We know Mace taught him. Cam and Mace taught him how to put the bars together and taught him how to write, basically taught him how to write bars and shit in hip hop. I mean, write his bars on the paper and all that. We understand Cam and them taught them. They give him the head start to write rhymes. We understand that, but y'all got to understand. Mace left a long time ago. So we know that, okay, he said that in his interview. He said, yo, Mace taught me how to rhyme. Taught me how to write the rhymes and taught me how to put shit together. Okay. But that nigga wasn't there for the whole run. Pause. He wasn't there for the whole Dipset. So Jim had to learn the rest on his own. We know a few people wrote for Jim. Everybody got, man, your favorite artists, man. People write for everybody nowadays and back then. Don't let that shit confuse you. So that part right there, I was seeing a lot of comments on that. Yo, Mace taught him. See, people got it confused. Mace and Cam taught him how to start this shit, but they ain't finished with him. Jimmy started doing that shit on his own. His first album, know what I mean, on his way to church, all that shit. It's nasty work, man. But we ain't done. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel.
Still gotta know, like, how did that work? You performing, like,
They call me like, yo, you want to come out and perform at the show? Shit, yeah. I got the hottest record. I'm popping out. And I wish nigga would look at me sideways, think they gonna do anything funny. I'm with all of that. We'll boom this shit up. It'll be nasty in New York. That's how I was living back then. That's what I was on. I wasn't on nobody's friendship. I was in there like a pirate. What's up? What's up? That's how I was. You dig? Like, hope everybody be calm, because y'all know this shit gonna go way left real quick. You dig? I'm here for what I need out this shit.
right?
It's that crowd to hear me do balling, and let me get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so it wasn't no deep thought. Like, this is like, nigga, it's an opportunity. I gotta go.
Yeah, I was going there to do nothing genuine at all. Them niggas couldn't even dress. But he had a platform for me to perform on in front of thousands of people in New York. Yeah, I'm taking that. I'm popping out.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about not knowing.
That's crazy. I remember when that shit first happened. When everybody was like, yo, Jim. I remember, cause I think it was in Rap City. Remember Rap City, BET? Remember BET had little Rap City shows and all that? And the Jim and Fifth was in there, and Jewels. And I remember when I watched that. This is how way back I go. For the youngest, y'all can go to YouTube, put Jim Jones and 50 Cent Rap City. Y'all see what I'm talking about. It's a throwback show from back in the early 2000s that BET used to be doing all the time. Shit was in the 90s going into the early 2000s. Then it was like 106 in Park, but better. I mean, it called Rap City. Then it changed the name of it. But anyway, long story short, I remember when I first seen that shit, I didn't even think nothing crazy about it. And I was a youngin' at the time, and I was a fan of G-Unit and Dipset. When I first seen that, and I remind y'all, Cam wasn't around. Cam disappeared. He just went on he just disappeared. People didn't even know what the hell happened to Camron, to be honest. I'm gonna keep it real, and that's something that Cam forget. You didn't do a press conference. Yeah, I'm gonna sit back from hip hop a little bit. You ain't do none of that shit. You just flew off in the wind, nigga, and disappeared, nigga, and we ain't never see you again for a couple years. That's when we just seen Bird Game taking off, Jimmy taking off with the balling and all this, that, and the third. Repping the set, repping Dipset. Every rhyme he say, Dipset, Dipset. You always make sure he say Dipset. I don't understand, like, and I understand people gonna say Jim said a few little words to him, this and that, but yo, they best friends. Families always fight. Friends always fight. Look at him and Mace. These niggas on battle. These niggas, him and Mace was on the radio. Dropping mixtapes, going against each other, talking disrespectful. Camron said the most disrespectful shit to Mace in all his Mace records. Man, listen, go do y'all research. And y'all telling me him and Jim can't piece it up, but him and Mace pieced it up, and they doing very successful right now. Shout out to Mace and Camron. Y'all telling me him and Jim can't piece it up, and him and Mace did. And him and Mace actually battle on the records and all that shit. Went at each other, disrespectful, saying things. I mean, Camron disrespected Mace for like almost 10 years. And you telling me them niggas could kumbaya, make a show and get millions together, but him and Jim can't do the same shit? A nigga that helped you build the Dipset legacy? That's crazy to me. Nah, but where Jewel's at now? Jewel's home. He could barely even get on right now. He ain't even got a hit single or nothing. It's Jim. That's what I'm trying to explain to y'all. You take Jim out this loop, take him out the circle, it won't be nobody repping Dipset. Camron's in a whole goddamn different lane. Jewel's washed up, never dropped another goddamn album. And Jewel's, I'm not even trying to disrespect you because I rocked with you, man. But you just, once you started drinking lean and all that shit, trying to be Lil Wayne, that's when your career just went down, nigga. And I remember Camron said that shit. Cam said, man, Jewel started doing the shit Lil Wayne doing. I'm looking at him like, nigga, we from Harlem. We don't do that shit. And I remind y'all, this is in the early 2000s. Because Wayne was drinking off the cup and all. That's New Orleans. That's down south. Niggas in the East Coast, niggas from New York and all that wasn't doing that shit in the East Coast. Jewel's got all into that shit. Nigga, career went down. Nigga, Jewel's ain't never been the same. So Jewel's couldn't, nowhere impossible, rep Dipset the way Jim was repping Dipset for the last 10 years, 15 years, bro. 10, 12 years. Day in there 20 years, man. This boy, I mean, this nigga Jim been repping this shit, going crazy, still going hard. And you telling me him and Cam can't piece that shit up, and him and Mace piece it up with all the disrespect he said to Mace on them records? That's why Jim's sitting back confused. Like, yo, hold up, that niggas what? But me and you can't piece it up, Flea? But you piece it up with Mace? No, man, I knew Mace since I was 8 years old. Nigga, you met Jim when you was like 15, 14 probably. It's the same shit, nigga. It's crazy. It's crazy. Shout out to Jim, man. Let's smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's continue.
Still gotta know, like, how the dances of you, Cam, and Mace getting back.
I don't think it's really gonna happen. We are all we're two different type of people and shit like that. We always have. Always have. Competitive nature always been first before friendship. Remember, Cam, my man. It's not.
So it's not you.
I took the position of my position. Cam is my partner. I'm not his artist. I was the CEO of Diplomats. I made Diplomats with him. I was with him for every bit of his journey. I held him down. I took that position of holding him down. I'm not his soldier. You heard? I'm his partner. But in the journey that we had to take, I had to do what was needed, nigga. That's why I played my position. And that's why I'm able to be here and have a conversation with you, because I did what I was supposed to do. If I didn't, I don't think I'd be able to have this much success or this good grace. We just on two separate sides of the fence. You heard? Like, they do what they do, and I do what I do. I'm very different from them, my brother. You heard? Like, very different. For real. You did? Yeah. Like, way different than them and shit like that. And I ain't here to put nobody business out there, none of that type of shit. I'm not that type of nigga. I ain't here to talk down on them niggas. Yeah. I don't care. Them niggas know what I do. You heard? And they know what I've done. And they could dance around it all they want and shit like that, joking, but they know, nigga, if I get upset, it's gonna be a real problem.
Shout out to Jim, man. Shout out to Cam, shout out to Mace, shout out to Dipset, shout out to the whole Harlem, because I grew up off that music. I definitely grew up with McGruff, everybody. But I know people going to, hold up, before we continue, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video. I know people going to be like, yo, Jim be talking tough, you know, he got his head. Listen, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some in the streets, especially when you're in that world, that Jim was in that world at the time when he was active. When he's running around, I mean, claiming throwing up the bees and all that, that nigga made New York look, he made that shit look cool in New York. We not going to say and act like that. Act like Jersey, New York, and Connecticut and all, because Philly really don't rock with the game too much. So Jersey, New York, and Connecticut, they was banging that shit because of Jim. When Jim came on the TV, started showing the red flag and all this shit, claiming, I mean, man, that whole New York blood wave went crazy. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. And that Dipset era, that shit played a lot. I mean, Jim and them niggas played a lot, man. They played a lot in that role. You gotta remember, we seen this shit on television. These niggas they not just wearing no red shit and just wearing khakis, nigga. These niggas, we looking like Harlem out here. That's how they was on it with the red flag. They made it look fashionable. You could put the red flag and still look fly. That's how Jim and them niggas did that shit. So you gonna win some, lose some when you part of that life, man. That's number one. Jim done got touched, got chased before. Jim pretty much sure chased niggas. He put hands on niggas too, him and his niggas. It's just a lot of his shit that he was doing with his niggas probably didn't get too much on the internet like the ones we seen on Jim or the ones we heard on Jim. That's all I'm gonna say there. But I could tell y'all, as a fan, Cam wasn't out there. It was always Jim and the Dipset niggas. Always Jim and I mean Bird Gang niggas. It was always Dipset and Jim, man. You really didn't see Cam too much in action in them streets like that back in them days. He didn't have to, like I said. That's Fleet. That's King Joffrey right there. That's the Dawn. That's the Dawn of Dipset. So he ain't had to be playing them streets. But for you to act the way you act towards Jim, like Jim wasn't holding that Dipset flag for many years down, it's crazy to me. Mace wasn't doing that shit. That's the reason why I'm trying to explain to y'all. Cam had a different type of love for Jim than Jim got the love for Cam. Cam ain't look at Jim the way Jim really had love for Cam. Because if they did, they would have been friends right now, how him and Mace is. Jewels, that nigga's just wild, man. Listen. If Jewels was still on his Dean and one of the still hottest rappers coming out of New York, maybe you didn't need Jim. Jewels could have held that shit down. But obviously, Jewels couldn't hold that down. And Jim had to take over that position for many goddamn years to keep Dipset irrelevant and keep his career relevant also. And he did a hell of a great job, if to be honest, because that man's still relevant. That man's still doing music with young niggas, all types of shit. Still repping the dip. Cam, you wrong for that, champ. I'm gonna keep it real. You wrong, man. If you could piece it up with Mace with all the disrespect you said to Mace, there's no reason why you and Jim can't piece that shit up, bro. Jim never made a diss song about you. Jim never went like Jim ain't do the shit that Mace did to you. Let's continue. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, man.
Anything that I did with Diplomats was out the love of my heart. He said I was a CEO. I never had no paperwork. My name wasn't on nothing that I own. And his name was on everything. I never got no publishing checks for it. I wrote damn on everybody's album. I never got no writing credits. Nothing. My name was never on nothing that had to do with nothing to do with Diplomats. You heard? I was an owner by right because I was a part and I started that. Anything that I did.
You seen this shit before it happens, what you tell, like everything.
Mm-hmm. It started with Mace. He didn't do the right thing.
That's the one question I wanted to ask you. I'm a little bit too young to understand. Like I just was able to be like a teen.
I watched Mace shit on Cam and everybody around him.
Wow.
A bitch like all the time. You heard? Like I was there the whole time, but I was Cam's man. You heard? Cam and Mace were so-called best friends, grew up together, and R.I.P. Huddy. Like I was there for everything. That's one thing that people can't never say is that I wasn't there for every single thing.
What was your problem with Mace? Like, how did that all happen? Because that was Cam, man, like you said.
Cam enemies were my enemies. Okay. Anybody Cam didn't like, I didn't like. And I already see how he was handling Cam, so I definitely didn't like him. You dig? And then I seen how much love Cam had for him and how Cam was jumping out the window for him, which a friend shit and shit like that. Like, being overprotective, making sure nothing happened. Like, he was trying his best to make sure that Mace stayed as safe as possible, but Mace had got that money and lost his motherfucking mind, as he's supposed to, man. He grew up in a kid that doesn't have what most of us had, and he was probably more or less fortunate than most of us. Didn't have the sneakers, didn't have all that shit coming up. So him having the first bit of success out of all of us and really get into a bag, he just went crazy like most people do and shit like that. Shit, I had my times where I went crazy with that bag. It just be too much.
Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Do me that favor, share this video. Pardon me. It was a Jim that he actually said in that part when he did that interview. You see how he said when Cam, I see how Cam jumped out the window, make sure Mace was good. He should just jump off the porch for this nigga, this and that. That's the same thing Jim was doing for Cam. I sit back, I wait. That's the same thing Jim was doing for Cam. Like Jim said, I was Cam man. I wasn't Mace man. That wasn't my nigga. Cam was my nigga. So when Mace disappeared and bounced on us when he got the money and all that and left his best friend, meaning Camron, in the dust, I was the nigga that stepped up and said, yo, champ, we're going to build this shit. We're going to go independent. Anything you tell me what to do, Flea Cam, nigga, I'm on it. Nigga, what I got to do? This is Jim playing his position. Making sure Dipset and the rest of the other niggas, Freaky Zeke, all them other niggas, because you can't discredit them niggas in the back end. But meaning I'm talking about the main niggas up front, the one that got the cameras, lights, camera, action, Jim Jones and Cam. Jim played his position. Just the way he said Cam played his position with Mace at once upon a time. Cam, that was Jim doing the same shit for you, champ. That's why Jim feel the way he feel. That's why Jim cried in them interviews at Funkmaster Flex and all that shit, and you clowning him and all this standing way, all that shit, Flea. Nah. Niggas only cry for when they get emotional, when they really love you, nigga. That part. Niggas just don't cry for a nigga they don't got no love for, bro. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Cam. I'm gonna tell you from a nigga from the outside. Cause that's the only time I'ma shed tears. If I got love for you, homie, and I know you since nigga, something happened to you, I'ma shed tears. You one of my day ones. Especially if you help me build this goddamn legacy in this label that we got running for years and years to run. Cam, you wrong for that, champ. Because the same way you was with Mace, that's how Jim was with you, champ. Make sure nothing happened to you. Make sure you good. Anything you had to, yo, Jim, I need this done. Jim, I need this done. Yo, Jim, go tell that him. Jim probably was doing all that shit according to all the interviews Jim been talking about this shit for the last 10 years. And then when we hear your response, we hear when you talk, you just be clowning Jim, acting like Jim wasn't there. I'm surprised y'all niggas, I'm surprised Jimmy made a diss record on you by now, be honest, yo. To be honest, I'm surprised Jimmy make a diss record. Mace did, though. Mace dropped a couple of diss songs, little single songs back in the days of the mixtapes. You disrespected Mace so much, I don't even know how the hell y'all friend. Sometimes you can put things to the side, I understand that. But then you gotta batch everything up, bro. You gotta, come on, man. If you and Mace don't make kumbaya, nigga, you and Jim could do the same thing, bro. Jim ain't make no diss records and disrespect you and did all types of crazy shit. He ain't do none of that shit. That's the Jim that I caught when he said, yo, Cam, you should do everything for me. Jump off the porch, make sure Mace was good, this and that. Jim was doing the same thing for his man Cam, man. So people can't sit back and be like, oh, nah, Jim, they just leave it alone. Nah, Jim did a lot for that. He look at that nigga like that's his brother. And for him not to piece it up with you, and then you go make a show, which I know that shit probably hurted Jim when that shit first happened, when him and Mace got the show and all that. He looking like, yo, all this shit you was talking about this nigga? That's how Jim looking at it. And Flea, I barely even talk shit about you, nigga, but you talk so much shit about Mason. Let's continue. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. I'm telling you, nasty work between these two, man.
It just be too much. Yeah. You dig? But the people I loved, I still love them today. You know what I mean? The people that I consider to be the ones that's gonna help me in this journey, I still love them today, and we still have great relationships and shit like that. It ain't got nothing to do with Camron and shit like that. We all have our own group of people that help us along with this journey and shit like that.
So now that you see Cam and Mace together having their own show, how did that shit make you feel when you seen them come together after everything that you did?
I seen crazier shit happen. I know brothers that shot brothers and shit like that. So for friends to get back after a world of whatever they went through, it's not surprising to me and shit like that. But I see they don't talk about the days of being shit on, you heard? They don't talk about the things that separated them and shit like that. So, it's funny. But kudos to them, man. They got a dope show. Who am I to hate on what they got going on, man? I hope they make $1 trillion.
What's the craziest shit you seen Mace do to Cam that was just like, yo, I can't believe these niggas could even get back cool after some shit like that?
I won't say nothing crazy, but I say some funny shit that I seen happen. I seen Mace fire his brother, kick him out the limo in the middle of the highway and shit like that. You heard? His old brother. That nigga's vicious. But he coming back off the road for, I think, a bunch of tours and shit like that. Get off the plane. And Mace got the brand new Mercedes drop burgundy, pull up to the airport. Skirt, the car dealer bring that shit outside the airport. 2-door drink, brand new stickers on that bitch. That nigga going crazy, right? Joking and shit like that with Cam and shit. That nigga jumped in the shit by himself with skirt off. I said, yeah, this nigga is a different type of animal. This nigga don't care about nothing.
That's Mace. See, basically he's trying to say he jumped in that new shit, looked at Cam and skirt off, nigga. Now I know people like, yo, nah, smoke. I'm just saying. I remember the time when Cam and Mace was going back and forth. I remember the time when Cam was disrespecting Mace on them tracks. I mean, and I listen, like I said, kudos to them too, because I love their show. I watched their show and I'm a big Cam. I grew up hearing Cam music and Mace. I'm more of a, nah, man, Cam fans, because Cam had more longevity than Mace, because Mace kind of fell back from hip hop and all that. We know the history. But Cam, you got to piece that shit up with Jim, bro. There's no way in the world you telling me you can't piece that shit up with a nigga that helped you build that legacy over there in Dipset, man. He was there every step of the road, bro. He knows shit that to this day that he probably won't even talk about. He said it. He said, "I'm not dumb. I'm not gonna talk crazy about my man. Even though we ain't at good terms, but I ain't gonna talk crazy about him." And I know Jim got a lot of more shit he could say about Cam. I pretty much know listen, man. He been around that nigga for almost 20 since they built this shit. They met each other when they was teenagers. They built Dipset together. Mace left Camron in the dust, and that's when Dipset came along. If Mace would have never left Cam, nigga, Dipset probably would have never even existed. We probably would have never got a Jim Jones, Jewels, and none of that. But since Mace got his money, only took certain niggas with him and left Cam back in Harlem, you telling me you piece it up with him, but you can't piece it up with Jim? That's crazy. That's all I got, sir. I want to hear y'all smoke y'all opinion on this, man. Make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, because this is nasty work between these two. These niggas need to just squash this, sit at the table, Cam need to just sit at the table with Jim and just let it, nah, man, just start getting money together. Y'all grown now, bro. If you and Mace could get a show together, you and Jim could do something, y'all could, come on, man. Come on. Let's cut the shenanigans here out. That's why I didn't even want to talk about this, because this beef been going on so long. But Jim actually went viral on this beef, on the shit that he spoke about. I said, you know what? Let me speak about this a little bit, because I've been seeing this shit between these two for the last. If you a Dipset fan, y'all understand what I'm saying. But I gotta blame Cam, man. I gotta blame Killer, man. I had to. I gotta blame Flea, because Flea, if you could piece it up with Mace once again, you could piece it up with Capo. You could piece it up with Jim. You can tell Jim been heard about that shit for several years, man. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video. Make sure y'all share the video, smash the like. If they know, they know. It's your boy, Smoke News TV. Salute, gang. I'm up out of here, man. Make sure y'all commenting below. Salute. I'm out of here.